Are you considering a move to Florida? I've been here for over 15 years now, and I've learned a thing or two in that amount of time. And so I wanted to give you some insight of what it's like to be a resident of Florida. Now, Florida is much more than just the palm trees and the ocean and the Florida man stories that you see on the news. So no matter what part of the country or the world that you're going to be moving to Florida from, here's some insight that I think you will find to be true and helpful. Now, the first thing to know is almost no one is from Florida. Almost no one. I'm from St. Louis, and in St. Louis, one of the important questions that people would ask is, what high school did you go to? Now, why that is relevant, don't really know, trying to get something to have yourself, something in common with somebody else. But down here, the common question is, where are you from? And if that person says Florida, it's like, what? Tell me, where did you grow up? Tell me about that, because that's such a surprise. But in reality, two questions are, where are you from? Usually it's some state from the north, and how long have you been here? And over the years, it's been very interesting to see those responses, and now more than ever, people are really moving to Florida. Okay, now this one is a big one because people worry about the heat in the summers in Florida, and it is said that your blood thins out over time and that the heat is not so bad. And I actually think that that's pretty true. Now, when you come down to Florida, especially in the summer months, you're gonna have high humidity. That is what it is, it's very high humidity, but we often get those afternoon rains that can cool things down. So if overwhelming heat in the summer is a big problem for you, over time, it's probably not gonna be as bad. And the other side of it too is that if you're from up north and you're used to the cold winters and all you have to do is be in the air conditioning to feel good in the Florida summer, life's not so bad after all, now is it? All right, now speaking of rain, it doesn't really rain in Florida, it pours. So we have a rainy season and then we have a dry season. So the winter months are a dry season, and we can go 4 months without rain, 6 months without rain. That is very possible. But in the rainy season, it absolutely can pour. And the weird part about that is you can be going in a whiteout, driving on the highway, and then 2 seconds later, it'll be perfectly sunny. So we have nice rainbows in Florida, but if it rains during the day in Florida, it does not mean that the day is wasted and you cannot go outside, because you could even have a situation where it's pouring in your backyard and in your front yard it's perfectly sunny. Now, one tip that I wanna give you if you do move to Florida, buy polarized sunglasses. So a few reasons. Number one, it's very sunny here, and so you're gonna need those in general. But the second thing is, on those days, if you're driving in very rainy conditions, those polarized sunglasses will help cut down on the glare and make your driving experience much safer and better. Okay, now let's talk about the wildlife side of things. When you think of Florida, what do you think of? Alligators, right? You think of alligators. And I know that was something that was a big concern for me when I moved down. You hear about alligators attacking people, and that certainly can happen, but my gosh, it's really rare. So I like to fish. I like to go freshwater fishing. And when I moved down here in 2006, I went to the ponds and I just had these visualizations of National Geographic, this big alligator just leaping out of the water and pulling me back in, and that was the end of me as we knew it. But the reality is those are crocodiles. Those are Nile crocodiles that leap out of the water like that. Alligators are very lazy. They typically leave you alone. They're just dinosaurs, they're just old dinosaurs that if they can get an easy meal, they'll get an easy meal. So they're not a huge concern, but obviously you need to be safe. You need to keep your pets away from the water, because smaller animals, those could be good food for the alligators. Now, while these are not quite alligators, the next thing that was sort of surprising to me when I moved down was the lizards, the little lizards. And those guys are everywhere. And they have these little like orange things that come out. I think that's their mating call or whatever that is. But there are lizards everywhere in Florida. And if you leave your doors open, you might get a lizard or two in your house. They're harmless, they're not gonna do anything, but if you're afraid of those little critters, that could be a problem. Now, one little trick there is that my little dog, I've got a 13-pound Morkie, and she is a lizard hunter. So if she finds them anywhere, she takes care of that issue. But anyway, that is something to just, that's just not normal in different parts of this country. All right, now along the wildlife theme that we're on at the moment, I want to talk about the birds in Florida. So we have snowbirds that come down. Those are humans that try to escape the snow, but we also have a lot of other birds that migrate south to Florida. So it's a beautiful sight, all of the birds that migrate here. And some of the very interesting ones are like the great blue heron, which is just a huge bird. They can stand over 3 feet tall, and they're just around. They're in the fresh water. They're around. They're hunting, and it's just a really neat sight to see these exotic birds that all come to you in Florida. All right, now that we're done with the wildlife side of things, I want to talk about what some of the other things that you would experience on a daily basis. So number one, I want to talk about the grass. It's sort of a weird topic, but I was used to very soft and cushy and fluffy grass up in the Midwest, and then come down here and we have this very hard, you almost don't want to walk barefoot in it. It's called St. Augustine grass that, it's very hardy, so it can withstand the heat and withstand the drought and the heavy rains, but it's not very nice to lay around in or walk around in. I just remember the days as a kid walking around barefoot. You don't do that as much down here, and the other reason that you don't do that is because there can also be a lot of fire ants in Florida. So you want to watch out for those little dirt mounds if you see those anywhere. Those inevitably, when you live in Florida, they will get you at some point or another, but keep a lookout for them. All right, and then a few things that are done differently down here in Florida than other parts of the country that can kind of take you, catch you off guard, if you will. So we call things differently than other parts of the country. So if you want a pond view in your backyard, we call those lakes down here. And that's laughable to a lot of people in other parts of the country because they're really just small ponds, but we call them lakes. So if you're looking at real estate, you would then look for a lakefront home because that's considered a lake. The second thing is that we call a screened-in porch on the back, we call that a lanai. It's a screened-in lanai, and you can have a pool in that lanai or an extended lanai, but it's called a lanai. I think it actually sounds better than screened-in porch. And then finally, we don't call them hot tubs, and they're not necessarily required, but some people like to still have hot tubs. They're called spas in Florida. So if you're looking at real estate down here, you want to understand some of that lingo. By the way, please subscribe if you like this content. I put out a lot of other real estate related content and area related content. I would love for you to subscribe so it can help inspire me to make more content for you. Okay, now some of the things that I've mentioned in this video are debatable, right? They're debatable. This one, however, is not debatable. Pub subs are the best subs. So Publix, the main grocery chain in southeastern United States, the deli makes these submarine sandwiches, these sub sandwiches that are the best subs that you can get anywhere. I'm talking better than, of course, Subway and Jimmy John's, and all of the other sub places cannot compete with what Publix offers for their $5.99 sub. It is absolutely amazing. I'll debate anybody on that one. I am sure that I have missed some of the other things that you can expect when you move to Florida. If you're watching this video and you live here, I would love to hear in the comments what some of your expectations would be. And also, if you are considering moving to Florida, no matter what part, so I'm in Southwest Florida, but we have an extensive network of trusted real estate advisors around the state. I'd be happy to put you in touch with somebody who can help you out on a local level because it's really important that you get the information from somebody who's knowledgeable in your area. Well, that's it for now. I appreciate you watching. You have an amazing day, and we'll talk soon.